Hey everyone, today we're going to be installing the APR Pendulum mount on the Mk8 GTI. It is a 6-speed manual transmission, so a little bit different in the terms of the Dogbone mount or the Pendulum mount from APR. So should be an easy install. We're going to go ahead and start uninstalling the stock one and put this one on, and then I will let you all know what I think about it. I've heard really good things about it. It's going to make it a little bit more stiff. No really high NVH from this one, so I'm excited to see that because this is my daily driver, so I don't want it to be too annoying, too much vibration, or too much noise. So yeah, let's get to it. All right, so we're gonna start by removing these 16mm bolts on the Dogbone mount. Shouldn't be too difficult. I always say that I forget how freaking tight they are. Okay, 1, 2. There are 2 different sizes, so don't forget to keep that in mind when you're installing the new one. The one towards the front of the car is the shorter bolt, and then towards the back of the car you have a longer one. And I'll show you here in a second. Okay, here's 1. Here's 2. Once you take these 2 bolts out, you're probably going to see the motor and the transmission shift just a little tiny bit. That's normal. There it is. So I'll see that disconnected from the transmission. They are a little bit different from each other, maybe like 3/4 of an inch longer. And then we're gonna grab the 21mm to remove the subframe mount one. We'll need to remove that one to remove the Dogbone. Honestly, I should have removed it before I removed it. Oh my gosh. Taking out the big boy for this one. Torque wrench over here. Oh. There you go. Sheesh. Alright. Here's the subframe mount one. Dogbone mount is out. I'm gonna spray some WD-40 in here. Make it just a little tiny bit easier on me. And you know what? Actually, I'm going to get my mallet, my rubber mallet. So, this little front piece, the smaller piece, thinner side, obviously towards the front of the car, you'll see it fits perfectly right in there. I have to get the version 2 of the APR subframe mount. Just because I think after a certain year they put in a new subframe mount. Where is my Dogbone? My pendulum mount? Did I leave it? Dumbass. Alright. So, got the pendulum mount. I'm gonna slide it in. I'm gonna grab this thick bolt here. This is the 15mm bolt that APR provided. It should slide pretty easily there. There you go. There you go. Yes. I'm gonna put 2 tiny drops of Loctite on this one of blue Loctite. You really don't have to. I'm just being overly precautious. Make sure this thing doesn't ever move. The blue one, from what I understand, is a little bit easier to remove with like hand tools or power tools. The red Loctite, from what I understand, is a way more strong one. Obviously, I don't need that right now. There you go. Make sure you only hand tighten it for now. You don't want it to be too tight later when you're trying to put the other screws or the other bolts into the transmission. Obviously, you're gonna need to move it around a little tiny bit, so I would just keep those out for now. Or I would just keep it loose, hand tight only for now. All right, that's good. Perfect. Now, we got that in. Long screw in the back, towards the back of the car. Small screw towards the front of the car. So make sure you don't screw that up. You don't wanna strip the thread in the transmission. Definitely not. So make sure you use the right ones. 17mm in both the front screws. I'm just moving it with my hand just a little tiny bit, just to thread it. Kind of just put your left hand around the back of the transmission towards the subframe. That should be good. Okay. Now, put some Loctite in the back screw. Just a tiny bit, literally 1 drop. I'm not trying to fight for my life when I'm trying to change it or maintenance it, whatever I'm gonna do. But just a little measurement of precaution. That's just me, you don't have to. Again, hand tight, and then we'll worry about the rest later. Oh no. Perfect. I'm just pushing it back with my hand. And then, as you guys saw, this one fell out, so we're gonna re-thread it back in there. Let's get this bad boy in. Make sure it's aligned properly. Push it back just a little tiny bit. There you go. Okay, hand tight. Hand tight. Oh, that's a 15. There it is. Okay. Let's torque this bad boy up. So, this subframe mount bolt, we're going to torque it to 74 foot-pounds of torque. I know you guys might have some fancy digital ones, but I still have the manual one. So that's what we're going to have to use for today. All right, 74, perfect. 74 foot-pounds of torque. and that's about 100 Newton meters for anyone who's not living in the US. Not sure why we need to, you know, use different ones, but whatever. Let's take this bad boy. There you go. Alright. And the front ones we're gonna torque to 54 foot-pound torque. So a little bit less. That is, I want to say 73 Newton meters. So 54. Where's 50? All right, 50 is right there. So 54. Yep. All right, 54 foot-pound torque. Why is that so difficult to say? 17 millimeter for the two front ones. Should be a little bit easier. There you go. All right. Just making sure. All right. Front one. Perfect. Wow, this feels solid. No movement. I should have shown you guys before the video, before I installed this one, but if you took a crowbar, stuck it in between the subframe and the transmission and moved it a little tiny bit without taking anything out, you would have seen a little bit of movement. And that's what you feel when you're shifting. That's what gives you a little bit of the wheel hop. But I'm gonna show you guys right now. Putting a crowbar in here now. Wow. I'm not moving that transmission at all. That is nice. It's actually flexing a little bit of my crowbar. Obviously don't want to put too much pressure on it, not trying to crack my transmission, unless you guys want to see me fail miserably. But yeah, let's get out of under this car. Actually, one more thing. I'm gonna mark these bolts with paint markers. You don't need to do that, but if you're always wondering like if the screws are gonna move, just mark them, right? And I'll show you. So I grabbed a red paint marker, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a straight line from the middle of the bolt down the side onto this black piece for both bolts. Why? Just because peace of mind, honestly. I just want to know if this is ever moving. And then since the subframe mount bolt is all the way in there, obviously you're not going to be able to do the same, or you kind of can. So draw from the middle out, kind of just follow that same line on the side, and then right on top, just mark it, and that's it. Show you real quick. So this is what I'm talking about, that red line there. Just honestly makes it easier, just in case you're ever wondering like, wow, is that moving, is that not moving? Again, the straight line on both bolts kind of just gives me a little bit more peace of mind. You don't have to, but this is what I do, and figured I'd show you guys. Forgot an important little detail where we have to torque these bolts. Since it was already assembled, I didn't think we needed to torque it, and I still don't know if we need to torque it, but again, like I mentioned earlier, peace of mind, so we just want to make sure it's torqued correctly. So for those, it's going to be the same as the subframe mount, and it's 74 foot-pounds of torque / 100 Newton meters, so should be good there. Let me just adjust here. This is a 19 millimeter that is on this one, so just keep that in mind. Also, you're going to need to grab an open wrench for this, because you need to grab one side of it while the other side is being torqued. So open wrench, 19 millimeter on one side, torque wrench, so set to 100 Newton meters, 74 foot-pounds of torque. There you go. So it seems like APR had already torqued it to about maybe 70, 65 foot-pounds of torque, and we're golden. So yesterday I also put the spacers from APR. I put 15 millimeters in the back, 12 millimeters in the front. That's what they call the flush kit on some other websites, and it looks real good. I'll drop in some before and after photos of what the front and the rear looks like, so you guys have an idea. But I haven't driven it since then. Putting it into first, leaving the house at low RPMs, but as of right now, I don't feel anything different. Whether that's in neutral, let's see. I'm in neutral right now and stand still. Feels the same exact way as it did when I didn't have it. So let's check it out. Gosh, it feels so much better. It feels absolutely incredible. There's no slop downshifting, there's no slop shifting up. A little bit of noise when you're lugging it, right? Like right there I was about 1500 RPM in third gear. A little bit of a vibration when you're getting into first gear, letting go with the clutch. Oh yeah. Almost feels a little bit more responsive too when you're downshifting from 5th to 4th or 6th to 4th. For example, you want to do a 70 pull. Almost feels a little bit more responsive when you step on the gas in 4th gear, 3rd gear. You know, when you're trying to be a little bit more spirited with it. A little tiny bit more vibration too in 6th gear, about 2200 RPM, 2300 RPM. Nothing crazy noticeable though. I also expect it to soften out a lot more as the time goes. Supposedly the pendulum mount is supposed to get rid of that wheel hop. Not bad, but man, considering how loud it was before, I'm pretty happy with it. So what do I think about the pendulum mount? I think it's a great bang for your buck if you're getting annoyed about the slop in your transmission or like the movement, the wheel hop. And I love how simple it was to install it. As you guys saw, I do everything on jack stands because I don't have any lift. But it was very easy to install. Just put the car up on lifts. I realized that I didn't need to put the car on all 4 jacks. I could have just put it on the front 2 jacks and kind of put wheel chocks behind my back wheels, but I didn't think about it. I realized how far up it was in the car, which is my bad. So 2 jack stands, maybe some wheel chocks. Make sure your e-brake is on. Obviously, we don't want the car rolling or anything. A little bit of a vibration in first gear when you're pulling out of intersection, when you're pulling out of your driveway. it almost sounds like when the car is stalling, but that's just because it's at low RPM. So I don't like to give it too much revs when I'm trying to, accelerate the car in first gear. So let me know what you guys think. Hopefully this was helpful. Wasn't a hard install by any means. Pretty quick, maybe 45 minutes to an hour, I would say. So not bad at all. Easy for a beginner to do so. Let me know what you guys think. Like and subscribe to the channel. Let me know down in the comments if you guys ended up going with the APR pendulum mount, if you guys ended up with another one. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Later.